Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. And now today, I have a very special guest with just amazing stuff, great content creator. My guest has a shop on Red Bumble, is that correct?
On Redbubble, yep.
And my guest has an amazing selection of cool items. So definitely check that out after you listen to this. And my guest is from Pennsylvania, and everybody knows the hockey team over there. And we gotta shout them out. But my guest's name is in the top 5 names that I find difficult to pronounce, but I hope I knocked it out.
You got it.
So
Yeah.
now I would like to start off just getting a little bit to know about you. So can you explain, when did you start in the Navy SEAL, and how much has that impacted your life for you so far?
So I wasn't a Navy SEAL. Women aren't allowed to be Navy SEALs, I don't believe in. And as of yet, we don't have any Navy SEAls that are females. But I was just in the Navy. I was a gunner's mate in from 2014, 2018, and I was stationed down in Virginia on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. So um, it really made me made me grow up fast, I think, for a lot of reasons. I think I've matured a lot for my friends and stuff like that. But it also has given me a really big drive to get things done. It helps with my creating and like character development and everything like that. Like it really has helped me be like have motivation to do stuff.
Awesome. And did cosplay, when did you get into cosplay? Was that at the same time or more like later on?
So I got into cosplay before going in, and then I stopped cosplaying kind of while I was in, other than like for Halloween and stuff like that. I would dress up and everything, like everyone else. Um, but as soon as I got out, I got right back into it, and that's when I like really took off on doing stuff.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And what was like your first cosplay? Like mine was the Green Power Rangers from the 90s.
So my first cosplay that wasn't an original character would have to be Soul from Soul Eater. I was obsessed with Soul Eater back then, and I was just like, I want to do this. So I had a friend actually make me his jacket, and I dressed up as him for Otakon in 2014.
Awesome. And do you still have that, or have you upgraded it?
I have the original one that I had made, and I have his upgraded jacket. I just haven't had the time to put on all his layers because it's a lot of clothing.
And I noticed something, that you are a plant parent.
Mhm.
When did you start collecting plants or purchasing?
So in 2017, I got one of my first plants, and I still have him to this day. It is a fairy castle cactus, and he's not that big. He's just like this little guy. But then I started really liking plants, and it wasn't really until probably closer to like 2020 I started getting more and more plants. And then when I moved out and lived on my own for a little while, I had started a huge collection. And I'm currently at 75, over 75 plants.
Wow. Okay, so I started a month ago collect and I bought me my first plant, and it's just a I forget the name. I'm already a bad uh plant parent, but it's one the type of plants that's good for the air, for your air, to collect dust or
Mhm.
whatever. And I was struggling. Like one day I realized, oh no, it got too much sun. Then I
Hmm.
had to find a spot, drill it, hanging it there, and then I was like, oh no, I forgot to put water. So I've been struggling.
It takes
What
a while to get on a routine.
so what advice would you give somebody who wants to invest in plants like that or any
So
plant?
there's a lot of plants that are beginners, like they call them beginner safe. They're just easier to maintain because they don't require a lot. I would stick with those because like there's some plants that are just you could like neglect them for over a month or two, um, and then there's other plants that you look at them wrong way and they're just like, ah, nope, can't handle this. So you like there's a lot of research that goes into like what is like a plant that's easy to take care of. And some people will say certain plants are easy, and then some people say they're not. It's more or less like what you know you're capable of handling. Um, but just like researching, plant soils and like what they should have and making sure that they're getting enough light and everything like that. Like it's a really important thing um, for all of them because they all require like different amount of light and different like watering schedules and stuff like that. So it's just there's a lot that goes into it.
And is there any type of plants you feel like you just don't have any good luck with?
Yeah, I am terrible with ZZ plants. I absolutely love them. I had a green and I had a raven, and I was obsessed with my raven one because it's like the leaves are all black and it's gorgeous. And I they just don't they just rot away. I don't know what to like I don't know what I do wrong with them. They just rot away. I'm like, okay.
I think mine would be, I try to get those. I think I struggle with a cactus. I let a whole cactus die. I was like, how? How? Like, I should have. This is me being a bad plant parent, but I'm trying to learn and
I
get
killed
better
most
at
of
it.
my like other than my one that I've had since 2017, a lot of my succulents have not survived very, very long. I've gotten better at them, but a lot of them don't survive with me. I'm better at other type of plants. Like I'm sitting here looking at mine that are in my window right now. Just like, okay.
And what is a dream plant slash exotic plant that you wish you can own, but it's like a big dream one?
There are a couple of variations of what are called alocasias, and they cost a couple $100 at certain points in their growth life. So it's like having one of those because they're just beautiful. Some of their leaves are almost like 2 to 3 feet long, and they're gorgeous plants. I did get one of my gold plants this year, and that was a Monstera Thai constellation. So it has a beautiful variegation going on with it. So it's like partially white, and so it looks like stars. So I'm really excited about getting that one.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. I have these my two friends. They they're plant parents at like top tier, and I discovered there's these flowers that are black or maybe purple, black or purple, really dark. And I was like, man, I want to buy a whole bunch of these, a whole bunch of it's the same flower plant and it's red. And my friend Felicia was like, they're gonna die. Like once they die, they don't come back. And I was like
Yep.
devastated. I was like, what? She's
I know
like,
exactly what plants they are.
she was like, you can buy them, but you're gonna waste a lot of money. But I was like, but I had this idea like how I would want my front yard and backyard. She's like, you can do it,
Mhm.
but once that cold hits, they're gone.
Yep. They don't, they're only, so they're an annual, not a perennial, so they don't come
Yeah.
back. Yep. Outdoor plants are a total different ballpark. I mean, a lot of house plants are just versions of outdoor plants. But like the annuals and perennials are so different than regular like indoor plants.
And are you into like gardening, like
I
tomatoes?
help my mother with the gardens. I don't have my own garden at this time, but like I help her with her gardens. So like I help, weed and mulch and water the gardens every night and everything like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Now let's talk about Comic Con. Now, do you like to attend Comic Con a lot, or is that just something you're not interested?
I would love to attend Comic-Con. The only Comic-Cons I've ever been to have been really small, like local ones. But they're always fun. I like the small ones. I think they're a good time. You can meet a lot of like local people, everything like that. And there's still, panelists and celebrities that come. So it's like you still get that without having to go to the big ones. I would love to get to New York Comic Con. It just every time like it comes around, it's either a bad time of the year for me or there's something else going on that I can't ever make it. So I'm like, one day, one day I'll get to New York Comic Con.
That's
But I
that's
do really do.
that's one of my goals too, is to go to the New York Comic Con, especially with like the Funko Pops, because I love collecting those things. Now I'm a good Funko Pop parent. I take care of those things easily, but I definitely would like to. Is that like a do you have like another dream destination that you would like to travel to for a Comic Con besides New York?
Yeah, I want to go to some that are on the West Coast. So some that are in like California and everything like that. And there's some other ones that are in like the northern West Coast, like the Pacific West, um, that I would like to do. But like it's just a lot. Like flying out to a con is a lot different than like just driving a couple hours or something like that to a con. I went to ASIN back in 2019, and I would love to go back to that one. That's Anime Central. That's up in Chicago. And I had a good time at that one. I just haven't been able to get back up there.
Now, speaking of anime, now I noticed that you cosplay a lot of One Piece. How much
Yep.
what's your love for anime and just One Piece in general? Where did that all start?
So when I was younger, I never liked One Piece. I will be completely honest. I was like, "Oh, One Piece is so bad. The animation's terrible." And then my dad and I sat down and we watched the live action together. And I was like, okay, the story is actually entertaining. Maybe I can just force myself to get over the animation of like the first season. And I did. And I have been obsessed with it since. Like I'm wearing Frankie's shirt right now. So it's just like I absolutely love the show. I love the characters because they're like it's a serious storyline, but it's also so funny and goofy, but it also has these like real life meanings to certain things. So it's like I just find it a really interesting like show in general. But I've been into anime since I was in middle school. And I liked the animation. I loved the stories. I just found it entertaining. And then I ended up making friends because of being into anime. So like it kind of is this like whole part of me that was like able to develop who I was as a person, was able to find like my group of people and everything like that.
That's awesome. And I'll share something with you. I started getting into anime when I was 23. When I was 23. And I was always familiar with Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Kai, Sailor Moon,
Mhm.
Naruto, and One Piece. And One Piece was the first anime series that I was like, I'm gonna, I took it as a challenge because there's a lot of episodes,
It's a lot.
and I knew some people that said, KJ, you can't watch all this. Like, there's no way. Like, you're not gonna catch up to me. And I was like, challenge accepted, and I committed. And what I like about that anime particularly is just the team up. I love the team up. And my favorite villain, and I forget his name, so I apologize to the whole world on the internet. It's the one he's like a shark,
Arlong.
Arlon, and I love the nose. And he like he was just to me. I mean, there was other villains that were difficult, but for me, I just remember he was just watching him. He was tough to beat. Like Luffy tried. I mean, everybody was trying, and it took a while to get him. But he's my favorite anime villain. Like
Yeah.
he's a true villain. Like
Oh yeah, there was nothing about him that was, and as you learn more about him too in like later seasons, because you meet some of his like former crewmates and everything like that, like you really see that he really was a twisted individual.
And you know what? I felt bad for a lot of characters associated with him. And
Hmm.
again, I forget this character's names too. He's like he dresses up as a clown and he can take off his body parts of
That's
his body.
that's that's Buggy.
Buggy. I apologize, anime fans. I apologize. 34, give me a break. But um I always feel bad for him because he's trying his best. Buggy tries, like when he wants to achieve something, he's trying to be sneaky. He's
He does.
trying. He's
Yeah.
trying, like, but but his ability, like if I ate, that's the type of devil fruit I would hope to get. Is where I can just take my hand off and do cool things. I mean, that'd be cool. I can like get things off the shelf and still be on the couch. Like
Yep.
that's why I always feel bad for him. So he has a soft spot in my heart.
I love Captain Buggy.
And
Obviously, I have a statue of him.
what did you think about? I know you mentioned it, but did you like the live action? Do you think it lives up? Season one so far lives up to the anime.
I think season one was a really good interpretation of it, because they did change some things in it. So like I think it was a good interpretation of it because the acting was good, the action scenes were great, and it kept with the storyline for the most part without like changing too much detail. So I think it was a good version of a live action.
And with season two in production on Netflix, what kind of who do you hope to see as far as season two with all the information of just knowing that they're in production?
Well, since they've already released that they have some of the Baroque work members, I'm like anxious to see who they're going to cast as not only Nico Robin because I love her, but as Crocodile because he's one of my, I think, favorite villains in the show.
Oh yeah.
Um, because he's just this like I don't know how they're going to do it, and I'm just really excited to see how they do him or who's going to play him. And I'm really excited to also see Alabasta. I think that's going to be a really cool, like, everything's going to be really neat to see, like, on screen again after it's been, for me, a long while since I watched it.
Awesome. And now for those who don't know, if you I'll have the links for for TikTok, Instagram. But you cosplay a lot of characters. And what is that process for you? How much hours do you put in and all that?
Since I haven't done any of like my own, like I haven't made any of my own for at least one piece. It's just been a lot of like finding the best costuming things and everything like that, finding the best wigs, finding outfits that fit because like sizings on like finding stuff that fits you is just so strange when you're buying things online. Um, and then makeup and everything like that. Like Buggy's makeup takes me a good while to do, just because of all the paint that he has on his face. And then like characters like Nico Robin, she takes me just a couple minutes just to put on. Like the wig takes me the most time to get on my head. And it's just like, yeah. And then Sanji, also not much time. And I'm going to be doing Zoro here soon. And that one's going to take me a little bit of time to get like the scar and everything. So got to get that one done. Who else do I have in the works? I have another Buggy outfit that I'm doing based off of fan art. That one I have to actually sew his like costume. So I have to sew a couple shirts together and cut them up and everything. But that one's gonna be fun. So, and then I don't know who, and then I want to do Chopper eventually, but we'll see when that happens.
Now, when you go Zoro, do you I know sometimes TikTok and Instagram or just Meta in general, they're very strict with the prop weapons. But
Yep.
are you going to attempt to do the at least the four katanas? Are they katanas? I believe.
Yeah, he has the three of them, and I have
Three.
one of his that actually, I have one of his that lights up. I got it from a shop, and I got his in-laws, and they actually light up and everything like that. So I'm gonna use them. TikTok is like typically fine unless like there's sometimes they're just weird with their policies. And I've never had any issues with sword props from Instagram. So I doubt that I'll have any problems, but who knows? Who knows with those platforms? But yeah, I have all three swords. Um, and then I have the one that lights up as well. So I'll be using those as props and everything like that.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that particular character as you cosplay that. Like, I'm definitely gonna hit the like button for you or the heart button, whatever they call
Thank
it on
you.
whatever platform. But you can count on me on that. Now,
Thanks.
what do you think about? I noticed you cosplay a lot of Marvel characters. What do you think about the MCU right now?
I think it's at a decent place. I think some of their stuff recently hasn't been the best. I think WandaVision was good, and I think Loki was good. And the last season or the second season of Loki was decent. Um and then I haven't really seen anything. What else have I seen? I've seen a couple. Why am I forgetting what the girl's name is that teams up with Hawkeye? Um oh
Hawkeye.
God. I can't remember what her name was, but she that was a good season where she follows Hawkeye around and starts becoming the next Archer for
Oh,
Marvel.
Kate Bishop.
Yes, thank you. I was like, what is her name? Yeah, I thought she had a great show, and I did not watch Miss Marvel, um, like the girl. I didn't get to watch that one. I just never sat down to do it, but I've heard good things about it. But the Marvels aren't really my like the Marvels as that comic book series aren't really my favorite. I do typically just stick to like the Avengers or X-Men and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and my next question is with the Deadpool Wolverine, is there any like X-Men characters or even just Marvel characters in general maybe you would like to hope to see have a cameo in that film?
I would love to see some of the the X-Men that we've already seen in live action. I'm obsessed with Rogue. I absolutely love her. I think it would be kind of fun for them to see Rogue or even if they see Remy LeBeau, because I think that would just be kind of a fun thing, especially because they go to bars, it looks like in the trailer. I think it would be kind of a really funny cameo for Remy to be in there playing cards. I think that would kind of be a really cool and fun cameo that they could do. And then obviously like Colossus, because he was in the other movies. I think he has to come back for these movies and stuff like that. Trying to think of who else I would like to see. Well, we saw Beast at the end. I did see that clip at the end of the Marvels movie, where they end up seeing the X-Men. And I thought that was really cool that they brought Beast. So that would kind of be a cool tie-in if they had Beast or something like that. But I'm not sure if that's the same universe or anything. So I think we'd have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see I would I know it's a far fetched and I'm just dreaming, but I would love to see Iron Man show up. I mean, at least a variant. Like
Mhm.
at least get one Robbie Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in the same scene and let them just be themselves in some way within those characters. I think that would be like the cherry on top of the cake if they
Because
can.
those three are so like those three characters are really just so opposites of each other that it would be a really good matchup of them three. Oh gosh. That would actually be a really good one.
Oh yeah. And is there any maybe you can share here on Great Talking Entertainment any future cosplaying with any other Marvel characters in the near future, either this year or next year that you can share?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing Gambit, so I'm gonna be doing Remy LeBeau. I got his shirt from X-Men 97.
The cut one?
I gotta cut it to make it as like crop top and everything. And then I want to do his obvious like his full suit and everything, but I want to kind of I want to get to the point where I can make that myself, but that also requires me to have time and space and everything like that. So that is going to be definitely in the future where the X-Men 97 is going to probably be sooner.
All right. And now, now before we wrap this up, I would just have to ask you three questions, and this is just to for 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 fun. So, what's the best advice that you received or heard,
In regards to
just in life in general?
in life,
Yeah.
oh, best advice. If you're ever in a, like, so this is more pertaining to when I was in the Navy. But this could also be college and stuff like that for anyone who's going through that, or even high school. Um, if you're like, you're not gonna see most of the people that you're surrounded by in the next couple years, and it doesn't matter what they think about you as long as you know who you are and be true to yourself. Because if they're like, if they are mean to you or rude to you or pick on you or anything like that, like they're just doing it because they have nothing else to do with their life and they're just bored. But just keep shining and, you know, being who you are. And eventually they're just gonna go away. Eventually they'll go away.
The best advice that I recently heard on I'm pretty sure TikTok. Um, it I forgot who said it, but it pretty much goes always bet on yourself because everything you have within you is all you need. It's all you need, and everything else just falls in place. Now, what's the worst advice that you ever received or heard?
Um, the one I would say would be borderlining something possibly political, so I'm not gonna say that one. So now I have to really think because as soon as you said it, it popped in my mind and I was like, hold on, let's rewind this. I don't want to upset anyone in the audience. Um, oh, the worst advice that I've received or I've heard. Um, oh gosh. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Like I'm trying to sit here and think of one and it just obviously if it was bad, like but not as bad as the one I am thinking of, it was data dump.
One for me would be uh, be motivated. I think motivated or start. I think it's more important to be driven, motivated. To try to motivate yourself, you're kind of like imagine if you're pumping a tire or a balloon or a floating, and you're trying to pump it, right? And it's
Hmm.
tough. But as soon as you try to deflate it, all that air goes away, right? So, but driven is something like, for example, if I'm trying to message everybody to say, "Hey, can I get you on the show? Can I get you on the podcast?" or doing a review for a movie or show. Sometimes I just don't. I don't feel like doing it. Long day at work or just having a bad day. And motivation, trying to motivate yourself is tough. But if I said no, I'm gonna do this one thing, even though let's say I only spent 5 minutes on it and only record half the stuff, paused it. That's being driven. So I think when you tell somebody, "Oh, just get motivated," sometimes in days in our lives, or whatever, we just can't get motivated. Like I've woke up just not motivated, but I just
Hmm.
think just practicing being driven. So for my worst advice that I ever received was just get motivated because you just can't. I'm not a robot or nothing. But and what is last one? What is an advice that you would give to anybody as far as getting into cosplay?
Getting into cosplay, my advice that anyone who's starting off has probably heard from other people is don't focus on people that have been doing it for a longer period of time than you. You you might not look the best, you might not have the best costume. Don't spend a bunch of money to try and be the best right from the bat. It takes time to get there. Like I look at my 2018 cosplays and my Soul Eater from 2014, and it's drastically different compared to what I'm doing now. And I'm not even at the level of crafting my own things yet. Like, and at that point, I know I'm not going to be the best when I first do it. So don't don't rush into it, and just do what you can with what you can, because cosplay is expensive. And if you're going to try and do all this big stuff without really testing it the waters, you're going to spend a lot of money and it's going to eat you up. And so I
Wow,
think, yeah.
that's awesome. And like, I always ask everybody I do on here that same question, and it's always like it's the same concept, but it's always a different, unique way. And just you explaining it for me personally, that helps. It helps, like it wakes me up, and I'm like, okay, it like all clicks in my head now. And so maybe like even for me, I probably should slow down a little bit on the costumes, slow down just a little bit, try to figure it out. So that is all that. That's all excellent advice. And anything you want to promote on here, I just want to give you the floor.
No, I mean, other than just follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I do have also a YouTube channel. I haven't posted to my YouTube other than shorts in a very long time, but hopefully in the next couple months, I'll have my own place again and I can start doing things for my YouTube channel again. So yep, just follow my social medias to see what else I have going on.
Right. Thank you so much. It's an honor to chat with you. I enjoyed everything we talked about, and I just wish you the best of success from now and forever. And I think more doors are when you think doors are shutting, remember all the doors, there are gonna be other doors opening for you. Like, you're gonna forget about little old me, but that's okay because that's what I want you. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. This was great.
And for everybody listening, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official Channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys. Peace.